So what's going on with TRVL? I mean, people want a little bit of an update on TRVL. I think it's what we kind of expected. We expected a little bit of resistance. And I said before, what we needed to clear this resistance was volume. You just need increasing volume to push through. If you don't get the increase in volume that it's required to push through these higher time frame levels, then you're looking at a little bit more of a prolonged attempt at taking the level, and no one can predict how long that prolonged attempt is going to take. If you can see here on this 236, we had to make an attempt once, twice, 3 times before we were able to actually get through that level. Okay, and potentially you could say maybe even 4 times, because this, you could say that was a failed, it was like a front run or something. At this level that we're looking at now, this is arguably the second attempt. This was the first attempt. This is potentially the second attempt. Okay, I'm not really fazed by that price action, because even though we're getting a little bit of a rejection, I'm not seeing crazy bearish price action. Just because we get a little bit of a mini sell-off, it's for me, it looks very similar to any one of these sell-offs that we had here. Yeah, it looks very similar. Okay, I'm not seeing the same kind of selling behavior that we saw here. Yeah, it's slightly, it looks very different. And the good thing is, just looking at this, this is on KuCoin, the good thing is that we have actually been able to close a daily candle higher than this pivot. Now, okay, we've pulled back, so in a sense you could argue it's not bullish, but I'll tell you something that's happened which people may not realize. We've put in a poor high. It's probably the first time you've heard me say that. But what does that mean? Well, it means that people have closed in the highs and then the price has pulled back. People haven't sold into the highs. They've held their positions into a daily close above a previous pivot. Okay, so they're holding their position. That's a close. They held it after the day closed. They were willing to hold at higher prices. They weren't looking to sell, they were looking to hold. Okay, now subsequently what's happened is the next day there's been a sell. Mainly that's got to do with Bitcoin and anything else. Probably that's more Bitcoin related than anything else. Obviously the context is important. We aren't in the lows, we're in the highs of this lower range, and therefore if we were in the lows maybe people wouldn't have sold, but because we are in the highs, maybe certain people thought that this is a good place to take a little bit of profit. And because we're in the highs, people aren't necessarily buying because Bitcoin is pulling back. So there's a little bit of context at play right now. So we pulled back a little bit after that close, 18% on KuCoin, which seems a lot, but I'm not seeing crazy volume. You see, right now we had increasing volume into the highs, and then we're now having a slightly decreasing volume with a decline in price. Okay, so very similar to what we've been seeing in the past. We're seeing the same thing now at the highs. It's a very low volume drop. And actually when the price is brought up, it's usually with increasing volume. So that's something interesting. The other thing that's interesting is that as we do descend in terms of price, you know, we still have a significant amount of levels that have to be crossed. So if I don't know which chart to use, I'll use max because I like to mix them up. Let me have a look at this one. So right now you can see on max we are into this daily level now. Okay, so we're into a liquidity level, and as you can see already, the price is reacting. It's obvious it's going to react because the price is being sold into a higher time frame level, the daily level. You lose that daily level, when you go lower, you're into a daily level. You lose the daily level, you're into a daily level. You lose the daily level, you're into the 236. Okay, and the back test of this whole structure here, which is an SR flip. Okay, so I actually think we just have to see what kind of correction is being played out here. I don't see this as a problem. Okay, I think this is actually quite bullish, because what we've actually achieved in going up is we're taking, every time we push up, we're taking liquidity. So the next time we go up, it will be easier to go up. Now, obviously, you have to get past the trap liquidity at the highs. So that will play a part in how we progress through the highs of this lower range. And you can see in the past, I'll show you here, when we did put in this kind of, the idea of this idea of a daily level previously, you see the price did, when it did go up, it couldn't get through, and then until it finally got through. So depending on how the price behaves and where we find support, no one can predict that. Where do we find support at 7.7 cents, or do we find support at 6.7 cents, or do we find support at 6 cents? I think eventually we will find support, so I have no problems in the confidence of knowing that we're going to find support. And obviously the lower we go, the more people are going to look to pick up. It's just the way it works. There's a lot of people looking for the dip, and a lot of people looking to, who have taken profit, or who are taking profit, who are looking to put back in lower down. That's fine. So eventually we're going to find support, and then you'll get the same kind of, potentially another attempt, and potentially another attempt. Yeah, and it just continues, just like what we're experiencing continues. And so I don't see it as a problem for us to have a little bit of pullback after we've made one attempt at, or the second attempt at 9 cents. And the first thing we have to do, obviously, is to clear the liquidity from this daily level, just like we did here. And then the second thing we have to do is see how much more liquidity is left before the price can move up. And I think a large portion of what is happening has got to do with Bitcoin finding the floor, basically, or Bitcoin finding nowhere to go, like being completely range bound and kind of getting boring. And once it gets boring, I think then altcoins will start finding strength again. So I think this is looking quite good. Gives people an opportunity to buy the tokenomics news. So, you know, some people didn't want to buy the pump, some people did, but now some people are probably looking and going, okay, wait, I still like the TRVL updated tokenomics, so I'm still going to buy. I'm still going to buy more TRVL because I see this as a good one, and I see this as a lot of future potential. I think there's a lot of future potential for this token. And now I also honestly think that eventually in the future, once we clear this level of 9 cents, that becomes our last point of support, this BULPS idea that I have somewhere in this region. So you're effectively, anything that's being bought now is effectively being bought underneath a future support level, and we just have to let that happen. Okay, that's kind of what I'm imagining in the way the price is behaving, the way the price is moving. Once Bitcoin's kind of just starts going up again, I think people are just going to start buying their alts again. I can see already now on the local time frame that even though there is being a lot of selling here, you see all of these selling tails, lots of selling here, buying, selling. Actually, it's the reverse. These are buying tails, but the reason why they're buying tails is because people are selling, and these are selling tails. The reason why they're selling tails is because people are buying. But the context is really important. When you get selling tails like this in the highs and then buying tails in the highs, it's actually, it just means that people are selling. Eventually, you're going to get the price, the selling stop, the selling will end. And whereas before, you have all of this selling, this is selling, and the price is kind of slowly going down. In the past, whenever you got selling, look, this is all selling too. It's the same kind of selling. Look, sell, 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 but the price easily declined. You see the volume is pretty flat. The price declined. And you see here, the volume isn't flat. And the price isn't going anywhere. It's kind of slowly declining. So there's a very obvious difference in the way the price is behaving now compared to when we were at these levels here, whether it was 4 cents or whether it was 3 or whatever. Yeah, you see all of these sales, the price just went down. There was people were waiting to buy after the price dropped enough, and then they would just buy it back up after the price slowed down. What we're getting here is slightly different behavior in that the sales are being absorbed by buyers straight away. So there is buying going on. This is actually buying. Even though there's selling, there's buying going on. Okay. And so it's very different behavior. If there was no buying, if it was just persistent selling, we would have been down here by now with all of that selling that's going on. So you can clearly see that it's very different to this behavior, and the price is being absorbed. I think you can just by these wicks that are appearing underneath these cells. So for all intents and purposes, what we need for the selling to completely exhaust, which it hasn't happened yet, and eventually the selling will run out. Eventually it's going to happen. There's been a lot of selling, and it's the fact that we're still at 7.7 cents, and no one could have foreseen how strong 7.7 cents could have been 2 months ago. But now the fact that we're struggling to get down is a really strong sign, and that's what it looks like to me. It looks like we're struggling to go down. It's not looking like an easy descent for the sellers. Okay, it's slightly different on KuCoin, slightly different on Gate, and then now KuCoin, and then buying on Bybit. You also have buying coming in as well, not just selling. You also have buying. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be too worried about this. I think this is a good opportunity to buy the dip. I think we've got plenty of room for the price to go down. and still be extremely bullish on TRVL. And I think what we're eventually going to do is prepare ourselves for another attack of 9 cents. I think that's what's happening right now. Eventually all of the sellers will exhaust, and then the next time we go for 9 cents, it's just going to be that much easier. Whether we attack it and get up there in one go or two goes, who knows, but eventually it will break, and then we'll be trading at 14 cents, and then anyone who accumulated at 7 cents or 8 cents is going to feeling really good about themselves, because quickly they would have 2x their position at these levels. Yeah, and effectively what will happen in the future is that you're going to get accumulation or reaccumulation at these in this range, which is somewhere between this 2.36 and this 3.82 level, and then we're just going to break to the next level. Okay, I can't see anything different from that. I'm not really fussed about the price going down, and I've said this many times on my stream before. I'm not pretending. I'm looking to buy much lower. Yeah, I'm looking to buy a lot, but much lower. I'm looking for the deal of the century, the bargain of the century. So if we do find ourselves at 5.5 cents, I will be buying a lot. So I mean, if people are looking to sell at 5.5 cents, they'll be selling to me. That's what will happen. I don't mind. I think 6 cents, 5.5 cents is a really is a really amazing opportunity to buy this token if it comes down that low. I don't see it. I don't see it coming that low. Okay. And actually my mentality is slightly different from a lot of people. People are thinking, well, why are you buying now? Well, could buy now, but I'd rather wait for the selling to stop. I'll wait for the sellers to stop, and then I'll start buying. Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm not buying at this exact second. Just waiting for the sellers to stop. Once I see the selling has stopped, and then I'll start buying, and that for me will be where the price has found support. And alternatively, if we see the price suddenly come down to 5 and then I will buy it. I'll just buy it. Okay, I won't care. It's like good price, buy. The alternative to that idea is that we go higher. Then I will buy again. It's weirder, but I will buy higher too, because I like to buy on support. Yeah, so if I see that we go up and we flip this 382, which is at 10.4 cents into support, I'll also buy. I'll be looking to buy support. That's kind of what I'm thinking to myself. And I'm just waiting for the price to stop going down. I'm just waiting for the price to slow down. Eventually it will. Yeah, it looks like it's speeding up, but really I'm seeing a very low volume drop. I'm not seeing a high volume decline on the price action. And what that means is that people are selling cheaper than the actual value of the token, because they're market selling into low volume. What the people who were selling should have just placed limit orders at the higher prices of 9 cents or 10 cents, but instead they're panicking and they're selling a market at low volume much cheaper, by about 20% cheaper. So it's their mistake, but once they're exhausted, once they've got no more TRVL to sell, then the selling will stop. And I know for a fact that most people are not selling. Most people are hodling. I've been speaking to a lot of different people who have positions from a long time ago till now, and they're just hodling. They're hodling for higher prices, and they're waiting for you know, things to happen. They're waiting for Sensei, they're waiting for the application, the traveler app, they're waiting for different exchange launches. That, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening that are bullish for TRVL. So the only selling that's potentially happening now is a little bit of trading that's going on. Traders will usually buy back. Like, I'm not really worried about that, because if they sell, they'll probably end up buying back, and then the price will probably go up again, probably. It's kind of what I'm seeing in the price action right now. Nothing to worry about at all. I'm not worried at all. Look, this is the range. Trade the range. I don't know which exchange people use, which is the best exchange. It's very subjective. But basically, ever since the price came above the 2.368 level, you can draw a volume range pool, and you can now see that the price is coming in on KuCoin. It's coming into some high volume nodes here, and then potentially to the value area low, which is at 6.7 cents. It's at 7 cents. The price will probably just go up again. And effectively what will happen is the price is range bound on all the exchanges if you do a volume pool on the current price range from where the price entered the range to current prices. You'll see that there's range, and on Gate the range is slightly wider and the low is slightly lower at 6.4 cents. Yeah, and so there's a little bit of divergence between the volume ranges. It just means on different exchanges, the volume was at different levels. On MEX, you can see the MEX and KuCoin are roughly the same. The value area low is about 7 cents. So I think probably 7 cents is a pretty significant level to hold, and probably will hold, just because I can see that it's the value area low of this overall range. Let me try Bybit. Bybit again is slightly wider. It's very similar to Gates. So Bybit, the value area low is at about 6.3. On Gate, it was about 6.4. So I think between 7 cents, I think 7 cents is going to be probably an important level. But I think where we are now is quite important. I'm looking at it now. I can see both on Gate and on KuCoin, we're coming into a high volume node here. See that? And with a little bit more volume on KuCoin, you could flip the point of control down to here, and that becomes quite a strong support level. On MEX, quite similar behavior. Look, you see how the point of control is up there? With a little bit more volume at these prices, you could flip the point of control to there, then that becomes quite a significant. It's a little bit of divergence in the exchanges. That's fine. Okay. And I'm happy to see that the exchanges are all trading at the same price now, whereas yesterday I identified some divergence in the prices, and I said that if people wanted to, they could easily sell on Bybit and buy on MEX. And I don't know if that happened, but I tried it out yesterday morning before I did the stream, just to make sure that that was the case, and it was very easy to do. You could potentially, I mean, it's, for most people it's small pennies, but you could potentially do that when you see heavy selling on one exchange and all the other exchanges are saying something else. At the moment, the exchanges are in alignment with the way the price is moving. It's just that the volume areas are slightly different. So I think we're at quite a good level now at 7.7 cents. On two exchanges, we're coming into a daily level and the point of control. But obviously, if we lose this level, then probably about 7 cents is going to be the next kind of area of interest. And then lower than that, it's going to be about somewhere between 6.4 cents and 6.7 cents. So there's a few levels now. And effectively, what you want to see is just for the price to exhaust. And that's what I'm thinking. right? Let me just have another look at the daily candles because I haven't had a look at those. Let me see what they're saying and give some kind of hints on those. So you can see on this daily candle yesterday that we had quite a big reversal. The price today went up to 8.6 and then got rejected off the point of control on MEX. Now we're trading at 7.7. This candle unfortunately was quite bearish because we were able to close underneath this, it's back into this body. So we lost the wick and we're back into the body now. So we're just kind of back into this lower range. I don't really see that as a problem. I just see there's an opportunity for people to accumulate at lower prices. Just let the price exhaust, let the sellers be done with their selling. On the 3-day chart, we have a little bit of a evening star doji into the highs. For all intents purposes, that's bearish. However, we haven't taken the liquidity, so if it was a higher wick, it would be, I'd be a lot more concerned. It hasn't done that. And actually, the confirmation that you'd be looking for in the context of these formation would probably be some kind of close on the 3-day chart underneath this green doji. And then you're probably looking for lower if that happens. The 3-day chart closes in 2 days, so the week candles close before the 3 days close. Let me have a look at the week ones. Let me have a look. Yeah, the week one. So yeah, so it's not a bullish candle. Sorry. It's not bullish. Okay. If that week closes red like that, it's not bullish. It'd be similar to it'd be similar to this candle here. Let's just see what happens. Because even though you get bearish candles, if the price stays in the highs, then you just have to see what happens week after. If the week after the price can easily continue, yeah, just because we have a bearish candle this week, with these kind of candle formations, you need 2 candles usually. Obviously, if you get some pullback and a big sell-off, and then you close with a red candle underneath this 236 down at 4.9 cents or 4.6 cents, well, that's going to look terrible for the bulls. I mean, if that was to happen, it'd be very weird, but something is happening. Something unusual is happening. We'd have to investigate. Yeah, I'm not expecting that, because I'm expecting, at the very least, I'm expecting these support levels to hold on the daily time frame, and at the very least, lowest, I'm expecting this 236 to hold. I mean, for most people, there's still a lot of value. You know, you're looking for another 29% decline potentially, but in the context of a bull market, the strategy is to buy, not to sell. I've been saying this for a long time. Yeah. In the context of the higher time frame price, when you're looking for higher targets of $5 and you're still at 7 cents, the strategy is to continuously buy, not to sell. If you sell, by the time you get to the higher prices, you'll have nothing left. Doesn't make sense to do that. I'm not talking about trading now on an intraday level or on a weekly level. I'm talking about a cyclical trading where people are looking to build their position and grow their position at the early stages of a bull market in a low market cap token, so that at the end of the bull market, at the end of the cycle, when the rest of the world, retail is going euphoric, that people have an opportunity to take good profit on their positions. But you can't do that if you've already sold everything, or if by the time you get to those higher prices you have nothing left. Yeah, a lot of people make that mistake. I've heard a lot of people tell me that they had Ethereum, they bought it at $10 and then they sold most of it at $20. They didn't hold on for higher prices. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that they had Bitcoin at $3,000, they sold it at $6,000. Okay, and their mentality was all wrong, because they weren't looking at the cyclical movements of the higher time frame price markets. We are in an upcycle right now. We are seeing a markup in prices right now over the whole of the crypto market, and the strategy over the next year is to buy, not to sell. When it's time to buy, I'll tell you. And it will be after we get some big exchange launches, because one of the most important things for selling is liquidity. Yeah, and even though right now the liquidity is going up, it's still not where I want it to be for that kind of course of action, which is to take good profit at the highs. Let me just pull it up right now. Where is it? Why can't I find it? Is that it? So confused. I'm so confused at CoinMarketCap. So there it is. Let me show you. So you can see the volume has dropped. Okay, so the volume in the last 24 hours is $254,000. It's dropped 69% over the previous 24 hours. Actually, 2 days ago, I was looking at the volume. I was looking at $600,000 worth of volume in 24-hour period. So that tells me a couple of things. Firstly, that's relatively speaking, that's low volume. Secondly, it on the decline in price, the volume is dropping too. So that's actually quite bullish. You don't want increasing volume of declining prices. You want decreasing volume of declining prices. Yeah. And actually, I think I posted it on my Twitter. Let me just go to my Twitter now, and I'll show you, because I posted it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, here, look. So I posted this yesterday, and look, the volume yesterday, look, was $525,000 in trading volume. On average, the volume is going up, so that's a really healthy sign. Even though now we're experiencing quite low volume, it's kind of what you want to see, because you want to see lower volume when the price comes down. You don't want to see big volume when the price is coming down. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a reduction in volume as the price declines, and as every time the price goes up, I'm seeing an increase in volume. But what you really want to see is you want to see much bigger volume for exit. Yeah, till you see that, don't even think about it. It's actually better for us that the volume is low, because it means the price can go up much faster, much higher, much quicker. And then when the volume comes in at the higher prices, that will give people an opportunity to sell without moving the price. And most of that is going to come with Binance. Most of that is going to come with Binance. KuCoin, OKX. I've been talking to certain people on Dtravel, and it's top of their list. The timing has to be right. A large portion of the reason why it can't happen right now may be something to do with the fact that they're waiting for Sensei to launch. Once Sensei launches, Dtravel and TRVL is going to be on the crypto radar and then it'll be an easy sell to get it onto those tier 1 exchanges. And that's really what I'm waiting for. You can see here on Bybit over the last couple of months or so, we have been having an increase in volume. And what my resistance level is that we just consolidate underneath resistance for a push up. It's kind of what I'm expecting. I don't know if it's going to happen. Okay, I can't tell you that we're going up. I think it'll be very weird for us to go down, and I don't think it would be bearish for us to go down either. Like, I'm not thinking bearish, mainly because I told you that I'm looking to buy lower. Yeah, I'm looking to buy lower or higher at the moment. If we cross 10 cents, I'm looking to buy, or if we come back into 5.5 cents, I'm looking to buy. So I like to buy the extended parts of the range. Either way. The other thing that's really interesting for me on TRVL is that on the 3-day time frame, we're very close to seeing the first golden cross on TRVL. You see this? This is the 3-day time frame. I've got the 200 moving average, which is acting as support at about 4.2 cents, which is in orange. And in yellow, I've got this 50-day moving average, which is at about 3.9 cents. And as long as this continues going, which I don't see why it won't, we're going to get the 50-day moving average cross. And that's a trend reversal signal. And if you think that the price is only potentially from the golden cross is only 85% extended away, we really are in a good place to buy this golden cross for continuation. The last time we had a golden cross was on the daily time frame, and I was talking about this when it happened on the daily time frame, and look what happens. We had a golden cross. See that? The price was about 13% away from it. And then look, it's just been going up and up ever since. You see that? Just been going up and up ever since. Okay. So I don't see any reason why the same thing doesn't happen with this and continuation. I don't see why this doesn't act as a signal for continuation. And in any case, I am expecting there to be really heavy support levels where these bigger, higher time frame moving averages are. You've got, look here, this 3-day level is this 201 is at 4.2. Let me have a look at the weekly. The weekly is at about 3.6. And the daily, look, the daily is really starting to trend now. You can see that from the moment where the daily 50 crossed, the daily 50 was at 2.8 cents, and now the daily 50 is at 5.4 cents. You see that? So the daily 50 is now nicely trending with the price. You can see how the 200 now is at 3.4 cents. You've got really strong momentum lines now coming upwards with the price, and on the higher time frame you can clearly see that there's no more downtrend. It's basically the downtrend is finished, it's exhausted, and we're turning the trend on the 3-day time frame to potentially the future of a very high time frame uptrend. This could be it. This could be the beginning of a multi-year golden cross. You just don't know. You just can't predict that. So I'm really quite bullish on this just by looking at the price. A little bit of buying here as well. You see that? There's buying going on as well. It's not just selling. You see that wick on top of that candle? That's a buying tail. It's a selling tail, but because it's at the lows, it's someone whose market bought. See that? That's buying. Buy, buy. It's not crazy amounts, 15,000, 12,000. Let's see if it's the same on the other exchanges. No, KuCoin, nothing. That was a big sell. 150,000. This is actually a buy, even though it's red, it was a buy. 15,000. That was a big sell, but nothing else, nothing left. It's quite a large sell for such a small amount of token. Look, they sold 170,000 and it moved 13%. It's very naive. Okay. Good morning, Robert Baker, Niamat. Good morning. Anyone else here? Bitcoin buy or sell? Stay calm, please guide. Niamat says mistake was to buy at the resistance and sell at the support. Yeah, never do that. You should always be selling at resistance, buying at support. All right. Let me have a look at the TRVL BTC. Again, we've had a third attempt at that resistance level. It's the third attempt. Potentially fourth. Like we've had many attempts. We're making higher lows. We have a daily level here underneath us on the BTC chart. Coming back into the value area high, daily level. There's going to be quite strong support on the BTC chart. Another 7% below us. So I do expect that the price, if it does get down there, to react. Okay. So that's something to bear in mind. But to all intents and purposes, we're coming back into this red candle, which is acting as an order block. So as the price descends, you're going to get orders placed all along this candle to the bottom of the wick there. Green wick. All right. A little bit more bullish on ETH. A little bit more bullish on ETH. You can see on ETH there's already a little bit of a buying tail as the price declines. Okay. Yeah, I think this is quite normal. I don't see anything unusual. I mean, arguably you could look at the higher time frame candles and get bearish, but again, you know, we've had a little bit of a push up, a little bit of a correction now as BTC is slightly correcting. Is pretty normal. I have this going much higher actually, so we're still not there. Yep. If this is the 3, if that was the 1, then this won't come underneath the 2 here, which I have marked here. If that's the 2. If this was the 0, that was the 1. If that was the 2, then we're in our 3 now. This could be the 1. Some kind of correction now. I don't know. It's looking really illiquid. It'd have to be more impulsive. I want more impulse. 1. This is the 2. 3. 4. 5. What's interesting, let me just share something with you, okay? And it's just an observation. I like to make observations on certain things. If my computer stops lagging, the mouse has stopped working. Okay, that's fine. So my eddy waves that I'm kind of tracking, it's not very easy with these small market cap tokens. Okay, not very easy. The illiquid nature of the market causes a lot of unusual price action. Okay, but I'm thinking that this is the wave 1, this kind of impulsive up, right, from wherever the wave 1 began, probably here, just that 1 candle impulse up to the point there. Then I'm seeing this as a 2 correction, and the 2 correction, actually, if you look at the correction, it kind of the price was going up as it corrected. It was very weird, but it was basically going up. This was the correction until you had another impulse. That was the impulse. And after you had that impulse, this is all impulsive. Yeah, even though you've got red candles, the behavior of the price is an impulsive behavior. Okay, just like this. This is impulsive. This is impulsive. But if that was the wave 1, and we have this kind of unusual 2 correction, I don't know what you would call it. I don't have the right terminology, but effectively, you're going up. This is the correction. This 3, the 3 really should be like, this isn't the end of the 3. That's my point. Okay, it wouldn't make sense, because eventually what happens is you make your 3. The 3 has 5 waves in it. The 4 will back test at the very least. At the very lowest, the 4 cannot come back to 1. That's the rule. The rule doesn't allow for us to make a 3 and then for the 4, which is another corrective wave, to come back underneath the 1. Okay, so we're clearly not there yet. Then if that was the case, you would then argue, well, we haven't started our Elliott waves yet. That may be true, but I mean, it'd be very weird, because if we haven't started our Elliott waves yet, then this is unbelievably bullish, because we just keep on making higher prices without even impulsing out of this lower range. Okay, it'd be even more bullish. So I'm not like thinking that yet. And obviously if we do come underneath this pivot here, I would absolutely think that something else was happening. I wouldn't necessarily think, maybe they would have a much longer, I don't know, but I'd have to reevaluate. Okay, but at the moment I'm thinking to myself, we are still in the 3, we've done our 1, and this whole wave arm is your wave 1. This whole thing is your wave 1. Potentially it's like this. Potentially it's like this. This is what I'm still thinking. I'm not thinking anything else. I'm actually still thinking we continue the impulse. Okay, so let's just see how this goes on, and I'm going to revisit this to reevaluate this later on. I'm still thinking that we push up to 17 cents. I'm still thinking we will back test some level for a push up higher up to 29 cents. It's hard to imagine now, because we're having a little pullback and we're at 7 cents, for me to start saying to you that, yeah, we're heading up to one of these higher time frame fibs. Who knows? All right, so let's just see. I'll keep an eye on this. It's a correction. By the end of the month, potentially. Okay, keep an eye on that. Anyone here? Oh, Solana.